The movie opens with Tyler and Margot, a young couple, eagerly awaiting a boat that will transport them to a remote, exotic island. Their destination is Hawthorne, an exclusive restaurant promising a culinary experience of a lifetime. This bespoke dining experience comes at a steep price, $1,250 per person, with only 12 coveted seats available each night. As they embark on this gastronomic adventure, they're joined by an impressive array of fellow diners, including movie stars and other high-profile individuals. Upon arrival, the guests are warmly greeted by Elsa, who welcomes each person by name as they disembark. However, when she turns to the young couple, she addresses Margot by a different name, revealing an awkward truth. Tyler had booked the reservation months in advance, while he was still in a relationship with another woman. Elsa's composure falters for a moment, betraying a hint of unease with this unexpected twist. As the evening unfolds, the guests are given a tour of the island, showcasing the staff's quarters, methods, and resources used to prepare their meals. Notably, the staff sleeps in a small, communal room with no room for privacy, reflecting the island's philosophy that everyone is a part of a tight-knit family. However, when Tyler requests to see the chef's cottage, Elsa firmly declines, revealing that it's strictly off-limits, even to the staff. Elsa makes a rather insensitive joke when questioned about a potentially poisonous plant, casually remarking that if left unattended, it could be deadly. But fortunately, the restaurant is run by professionals. The guests are then ushered inside and seated, with Margot unwittingly taking a seat reserved for Ms. Westerly, Tyler's former lover, whom he had originally booked the experience with before their breakup. As the meal preparation begins, the guests are invited to observe the chef's work. Tyler, eager to showcase his culinary expertise, starts to expound on various techniques, unwittingly upsetting one of the cooks, who surprisingly seems to know who he is. Meanwhile, when Tyler attempts to take a picture with his phone, Elsa politely intervenes, explaining that the chef frowns upon photography in the kitchen. Moments later, the first dish is presented, its exquisite appearance garnering admiring gazes from the guests. However, Margot can't help but feel underwhelmed, her eyes widening at the minuscule portion size. In stark contrast, the other diners, including Tyler, eagerly dig in, oohing and awing at over the flavors and presentation. Tyler, in particular, is in his element, enthusiastically showcasing his extensive knowledge of fine dining and culinary expertise, leaving Margot seemingly unimpressed. As the first course presented, the chef emerges to greet his guests, sharing the poignant story that inspired the dish. With a flourish, he instructs them to taste, savor, relish. But please, do not eat, our menu is too precious for that. Tyler is visibly moved by the chef's words, his eyes welling up with emotion. However, his sentimentality is short-lived, as he proceeds to discreetly snap photos, despite Elsa's earlier warning. Moreover, in a bad bit to curry favor with the chef, Tyler turns to Margot and anxiously asks if she thinks the chef is upset with him for interrupting his story, revealing his desperation for validation and admiration. As the second course arrives, the guests are presented with breadless plates, adorned with minuscule portions of expertly crafted savory delights. The unexpected presentation sparks a chorus of laughter throughout the restaurant. The chef, seizing the moment, launches into an impassioned tale about the ecological dominance of grain, which he claims occupies 65% of the ecosystem. With a flourish, he declares that, unlike common eateries, his restaurant will not serve bread to his discerning patrons. While Tyler and some others are thoroughly entertained, savoring their meals and chef's eccentricities, the three finance executives grow restless, requesting bread from Elsa, who politely but firmly declines. Undeterred by their veiled threats, Elsa remains composed, leaving the trio seething in frustration. Meanwhile, Margot's expression reveals her growing discontent, feeling insulted by the chef's unorthodox culinary approach. Tyler finishes his plate and takes Margot's, since she barely touched it. The chef approaches their table and asks Margot why she hasn't touched her food, inquiring if there's anything wrong with it. Margot replies, "There is no food." The chef responds that the menu doesn't make sense if she doesn't eat every course. Margot rudely refuses to eat, leaving Tyler embarrassed. Margot can't help but stare at the elderly man, prompting his wife to wonder aloud if they know her, noting Margot's striking resemblance to their daughter. Moments later, the third course arrives, and the chef shares a harrowing story about his childhood, specifically a traumatic Taco Tuesday incident. He recounts how his father, in a drunken rage, abused his mother, and how he intervened by stabbing his father in the thigh with scissors. The chef reveals that the food has been prepared using a laser engraving machine, which has etched images onto the dishes that expose the secrets of everyone present. The revelation causes a stir among the guests. Tyler's dish shows images of him taking pictures of the food, and he fears the chef's growing hostility towards him. Meanwhile, Margot suggests that Tyler send his food back, deeming it inappropriate. However, Tyler, who reserves the chef, snaps at Margot, upsetting her. The trio then call Elsa to inquire about documents they receive, which appear to show their company's involvement in creating fake invoices with bogus charges. Elsa cryptically responds that the chef never reveals his secrets. As they continue to press Elsa for answers, Margot excuses herself to use the restroom. Elsa intercepts her, guiding her toward the correct bathroom door and subtly preventing her from entering a mysterious door, whose purpose Elsa refuses to disclose. In the bathroom, the chef unexpectedly appears, asking Margot what she genuinely dislikes about his cooking. Margot claims she isn't very hungry, prompting the chef to probe deeper, inquiring about her identity. Beyond the facade she presents to others. He ominously informs her that she wasn't intended to be a guest that evening, leaving Margot visibly unsettled. The fourth course is ready, and chef introduces Jeremy, recounting his story. He praises Jeremy as a skilled chef, but asserts that he will never achieve greatness. This, the chef explains, is because Jeremy sacrificed everything to emulate him, making a mess of his life in the process. Desperate to please strangers, Jeremy has lost sight of what truly matters. The chef poses a haunting question: does Jeremy want his life? Jeremy refuses, and in a shocking turn of events, takes out a gun and ends it in front of everyone. The room is shaken to its core, fear gripping the diners. Yet, the chef remains calm, assuring them that is all part of the show. Everyone is startled, except for Tyler, who seems enthralled by the spectacle. Frank attempts to make a hasty exit, but Elsa informs him that there are no boats available to leave the island, and phone service is non-existent. The chef then orders Elsa to take his ring finger. Everyone is shocked, while Tyler enjoys his meal. George's girlfriend asks him to talk to Chef Slowik, as he had claimed they were friends, but it turns out he lied. Margot is then summoned by the chef. Chef Slowik asks Margot who she is again. The chef points out that Margot was not part of his planned guest list. The chef offers Margot a twisted choice: join them in the kitchen or sit with the other diners. She has 15 minutes to decide. The chef informs her that, either way, everybody dies tonight. George joins the trio. They devise a plan to escape by overpowering the cooks. However, Soren, overcome with fear, grabs his chair and hurls it at the window. To their dismay, the window proves to be unbreakable. Elsa promptly escorts him back to his table. Margot, frustrated and angry, walks back to her table and slaps Tyler for bringing her to the restaurant. However, Tyler, seemingly unfazed, continues dining as if nothing had happened. George demands to know from Chef Slowik what they are being punished for. The chef explains that he is punishing them for cruising people's dreams and for being ungrateful. He illustrates his point by mentioning the old couple, who have dined at his restaurant 11 times, but can't recall a single dish they've had. In a dramatic display, Chef Slowik drops his angel investor into the ocean, proclaiming that he is finally free from the investor's control. The guests watch in horror as the investor meets his demise. The chef presents the next course with a twisted surprise. He escorts the guests outside and addresses the male customers, announcing that they have 45 seconds to run for their lives. When the time expires, his staff will hunt them down. Panic sets in as the men scramble to escape, sprinting in all directions. Chaos erupts, but ultimately, each man is captured. Ted, determined to evade capture, manages to hold out the longest but is eventually caught, marking the end of the futile attempt to escape. As the men face their desperate bid for survival, the women are treated to a seemingly more civilized experience. They dine with one of the cooks, attempting to persuade her to aid in their escape. However, Their hopes are brutally dashed when they discover that the sinister idea of everyone dying to cement the restaurant's notorious reputation originated from the very cook they were trying to persuade. The male customers are escorted back to the restaurant, and an air of resignation settles over the group. In a display of camaraderie, the guests begin sharing their deepest secrets with one another. Chet Slowik approaches Tyler, his curiosity piqued, and inquires how he knew about tonight's sinister plans. The truth unravels. Chef Slowik had confided in Tyler, sharing his darkest secrets. Tyler's reason for not canceling his reservation after breaking up with his girlfriend is then revealed. He brought Margot instead, knowing that the restaurant's policy prohibits solo diners. The devastating implication hits Margot like a ton of bricks. Tyler knowingly condemned her to die alongside him. Chef Slowik, intrigued by Tyler's claims of culinary expertise, issues a challenge. He invites Tyler to cook a dish, and the entire restaurant gathers to watch. The chef introduces Tyler as no ordinary diner, but someone who boasts extensive knowledge of food. Under immense pressure, Tyler frantically prepares his dish. As he finishes, Chef Slowik takes a bite and delivers a scathing verdict. The dish is atrocious. He then leans in, whispering something in Tyler's ear that leaves him visibly shaken. Chef Slowik summons the fake Margot, who confesses her true identity. The chef, intrigued, invites her to join them in the kitchen. He tasks her with retrieving a barrel, exploiting Elsa's oversight. Seizing the opportunity, Margot snatches a knife and makes a daring escape to the chef's cottage. Her mission is to find a phone and call for help. However, Elsa appears, and a fierce struggle ensues. Margot emerges victorious, overpowering Elsa. With Elsa defeated, Margot manages to place a desperate call for help. Margot walks in and kicks the barrel. The chef is impressed, noticing the blood on her clothes. Just then, the sound of a rescue boat fills the air, sparking excitement and hope among the group. They quickly hide the evidence of their ordeal and pretend everything is normal. The chef reminds them that they don't want to be responsible for an innocent man's death. A man walks asking if anyone called for help. Chef Slowik makes a joke, saying no. The man spots George and reveals himself as a fan, asking for an autograph. George writes help on a napkin, but the man pulls out a gun. The group points at the chef, thinking they'll be saved, but it turns out it's all an act. Moments later, Margot stands up, criticizing the chef's cooking. She says he cooks with obsession, not love, and she's still hungry. The chef asks what she'd like to eat, and she requests a burger. Chef Slowik prepares a classic cheeseburger. Well done. Margot takes a bite, then claims her eyes were bigger than her stomach. She asks for a takeaway. The chef charges her $10 for the burger and lets her go, leaving everyone in disbelief. As the evening draws to a close, the guests obediently pull out their credit cards, ready to pay for the twisted experience. The chef begins to tell his final tale. The cooks emerge from the kitchen, bearing the last course. Chef Slowik takes a moment to bid his guests farewell, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. With a flourish, he reveals his final surprise, a shower of coal, which engulfs the dining room, dragging everyone down into darkness. Meanwhile, Margot gets away in a boat. Tell us down below, how would you have escaped if you were one of the 12 customers? Like the video and check out our next video about Harry Potter, who wakes up with guns bolted to his hands.